How's it going, garden people? Welcome to another episode here in the Hidden Gardens. Today we're going to tackle a few summer tasks. Get a little bit of weeding done, a little bit of cutbacks done in my Cape Cod Zone 7 garden. Now, weeding is certainly not one of the most favorite tasks to be done in the garden setting. And it's fair to say that most gardeners dislike weeding almost as much as they dislike seeing the weeds in their garden. Though, if you're going to garden, weeds are a par for the course, but they don't have to be discouraging. Don't let it stop you from gardening. Don't let all those pesky weeds stand in your way of all the beautiful features and plants and fun that you can have out in your gardening spaces. Gardening is certainly a teacher, and it definitely tries to teach you many different things. Patience, for one. My garden is constantly teaching me patience, every single day and in many different ways. Weeding is just another form of the garden teaching the gardener something not only about themselves and how they live life in the garden, but also out of the garden. And weeding, while not the funnest task in the world, is absolutely a super satisfying task to complete. I mean, is there anything better than looking at your garden after you've weeded it and seeing all of the freshly new spots for plants to be planted? For me, in my garden, I've declared war on the weeds, and within that war, many battles have been fought. Some have been lost, but I have won so many of them, especially over time. In the beginning of gardening for my journey, it was definitely overwhelming. I'd look around and I'd go, what am I doing? Why am I out here wasting all of this time just pulling weeds and not getting anything accomplished, it felt like. But after a while of gardening, I've found that I'm pulling less and less weeds each year and seeing so much more beautiful things throughout the garden. So after a while, pulling weeds and taking care of the weeds certainly takes up less time, especially depending on how you approach things. There are so many different strategies to tackling the weeds, which is just like gardening in general. There are so many different ways to do things in your garden, so you really have to find what works best for you. For me, at this point, I was able to get the whole front entryway garden completely weeded within a few days. Now, I could have taken just one full day and weeded the whole garden and it would have been done. And that's pretty spectacular. Just one whole day worth of weeding to get all of my front entryway garden weeded, when before, in the beginning of my journey, it would have taken days and days of full days. Now, for me, I just did a couple hours here, a couple hours there over a couple of days, and I was really able to knock it all out and get everything mulched up. And while I was weeding, I also noticed that some of the things that were popping up weren't actually weeds, but instead little baby plants. My salvia plants, the Salvia cardona to the left, gave out two beautiful little plants right here that I was able to dig up and pot up. So now I have two more cardona salvia plants to find spaces for, either in my garden or other people's gardens that I can give them to, which is kind of a fun thing to have when you're gardening, finding different things that aren't weeds, but actually special little gifts that the garden gives. So if you're new to gardening or just looking for a little bit of motivation to go out and get things done in your garden, I hope this video gives you that little bit of inspiration to get up and get out there and get it done. And if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing so you can follow along on the gardening journey, see how things are growing and going along. Helps me out, helps the channel out, but more, hopefully I'll be able to give you some inspiration and motivation to continue along on your gardening journeys. As you can see, things are flowering and blooming in my garden, and throughout the weeding process, I took a moment to take a look around and see all the beautiful things that are flowering, and absolutely taking in that moment and enjoying the garden. Cutting plants back is certainly one of those garden tasks that's not always the most desirable to do, but certainly a satisfying one once complete. This salvia, as you can see, has flopped, and it's certainly time to give it a bit of a refresh. The catmint could also use it, but I might wait on that just a little bit longer. The salvia, however, it was certainly time. The blooms were spent, and if I want to get another flush out of them, then I better get to it sooner than later. Fortunately, however, cutting plants back is absolutely a quick and easy task to accomplish out in the garden. Particularly things like cutting back salvia, it really only takes a few minutes to cut back a plant, if that, and it's super satisfying once it's accomplished. Now these white salvia, these snow spires, are looking a little rough. So I'm not sure if these plants will ultimately continue along in my gardening journey, but as you can see, cutting it back, I've found that it did give off a little bit of a baby hiding in there. So we'll see if these plants continue to live on another day, because the other salvia plants at least look decent after cutbacks. But for now, I'm actually so super satisfied and happy to have gotten this task accomplished. Even though these ones don't look all too great, they will kind of fill in fairly quickly. So with the cutbacks complete, the weeding accomplished, at least for now, and the mulching done, my garden is certainly evolving and growing along over the summer season. And maybe I'll even get a little bit of time to tackle the walkways that desperately need some serious attention, and possibly just a whole overhaul. But we'll see what I get into then. But for now though, my garden is certainly starting to give more and more joy every single day as I'm able to look around and see all the beautiful things and plants in bloom. Additionally, I was able to get out and replace a few of the silver mound artemisia out front here. A few of the plants were just looking a little bit rough, and I figured while I was here I might as well replace them, as they're all still kind of growing up and filling in. And this is certainly one of my favorite views in the garden once everything kind of fills in. So I'm really looking forward to the summer progressing and this area filling in. To wrap up my summer tasks for now and this video, I was able to get out back and prune up the grapevines that were certainly running amok out back in the raised bed garden area. And what a super satisfying task to accomplish. So if you guys like this video, I hope you'll hit that like button. Gives me some encouragement to keep sharing, lets YouTube know others may like it. But first and foremost, I hope this video inspires you all to continue along on your gardening journey, whatever that looks like for you, and thank you for coming along on mine.